Well, hello, everyone. You're probably thinking to yourself, wait a second, Brooke, it's not Friday. Why are you going live? Well, I have a special treat for everyone today. We are rocking it with John Ellis, Larry, who is apparently he's in the abyss of the Milky Way. Apparently, I'm not sure where Larry is right now, but he is there. And the one and only Duran Cajun, man, I am so excited, man, right now. We are talking about the BEV Everything team right now. I've got some just people that are honestly a hell of a lot smarter than I am, and I just kind of coming around for the ride. But we've got the dealers right now, or if you're in the dealership, maybe you're not in the dealership, but you're maybe looking to capitalize on the latest government incentives for EV, the electric vehicles, and the EV incentives are actually being released on April 18th. And my main man over here, or depending when it flips, it's going to be over here. He has a little look behind the curtain right now. We're going to jump into how to maximize your government incentives for dealers and buyers, and with our awesome panel here. So, John, I'm going to actually kick it over to you because you got this whole crew together, and I'm just going to turn the floor over to you, and let's do this.
Hey, thanks, Brooke. I appreciate it. Let me tell you, first of all, thank you for this platform. It's amazing. I know you are best at this, and so we're excited to be a part of your platform. But more importantly, and I know we just lost Larry, I don't know how, but you just said it, this team we've assembled. You and Larry and Duran's a co-founder with me. We started this from the scratch together, bringing you in our team as a partner, and Larry. It's really rounded out our ability to not only bring the most effective information to our dealer body, but do it in a way that each one of our partners here has a flair for, right? And they're separate. So together, I told Duran this, I think we said it earlier before you joined the partnership, it's like the dream team. And I don't mean that we're anything special, but when we come together with all these different acumens and all these different personalities, the dealers that we work with, they get such a unique experience. So it's not like just one consultant or two consultants, and then some of them maybe overlap. And we each have our strengths and our attention to detail that the industry already uses us for. But now we're coming together for something that's really important. And I want to say, this is where I want to start the podcast or our talk today.
And for those, I'm going to jump in real quickly, John, here. For anyone you're thinking, hey, what is this? We've got this down here below. Well, it's like below Duran's head. And then also below, as Larry comes back in here, below Larry, we've got the BEV community. So it's just beveverything.com. It is free to sign up. And that's what we're talking about. So, John, sorry, had to jump in there. I forgot to say that beforehand.
Please.
So have at it.
And everybody do it, except for you, Larry, because you'll do it over and over again. No, I'm just kidding. So beveverything.com was started for a specific reason. We saw that the EV community was in dire need of help. So Duran and I got together. I run a lot of EV industry spaces now, and not including BEV Everything. And my aperture showed me dealers needed help. And that's the only place that's not really being fed in an agnostic way. OEMs are feeding it, but in their way, and it's good, but in an agnostic way to help the holistic approach. So we formed BEV Everything as a community and as a consulting company to help our dealers now, and it's not including BEV Everything. And my aperture showed me dealers needed help.
We've got a little bit of, there we go. Larry, got you back.
Yeah, mute us, Larry. I think I'm hearing Larry. Can you mute Larry? But in an agnostic way to help.
We got him.
I muted him. Okay. So anyway, in an agnostic way, we can show dealers all the areas of their business that EVs need to transform. So Duran and I started the BEV Everything. We brought you guys on board, and that purpose, as I mentioned, all starts at the beveverything.com page, and you can click join the community there. The community is nothing but a resource. So we're not going to go there and have big groups of people communing back and forth. But it is a large feed with multiple segmentations, and most importantly, a search bar where all you have to do is go in and type exactly what you're asking. Incentives, price points, range anxiety, any of those things will get you industry information, very brief, but also very effective for you to have conversations. And that was our intent, to be a resource and a community, of course, and then a consulting company. But let me just say this. I get reinvented every day. And I had a conversation with Steve Greenfield this morning. You guys know Steve. He's a good friend of mine. We rolled out Trade-in Marketplace together when we were both with Auto Trader with Robert Hollingshead. So I've known him for many years. And he did a post this morning I had to talk to him about was, around EVs and how dealers need all the help they can get, and some of them are pushing back, and the new incentives scare them to death. We're going to talk about that. But one of the things that we've been talking about as a group here is the dealers have a fundamental opportunity to fundamentally change retail operations, probably for the last time in their lifetime. Now, look, people will say we had an operational fundamental change in retail automotive when the internet came out in the late 90s. Certainly we did. When digital retailing and omni-channel approach came out in the late 2000s, certainly we did. But this is different. The EV powertrain insert into a large adopted part of our industry fundamentally changes the supply side, both vertically and horizontally, and the relationship that dealers have with the community and their local community and their manufacturers. So our encouragement to dealers is, I know you feel like you're being pushed out. A lot of information is not there for you. You feel like maybe some of the messaging from OEMs are, we don't need you anymore. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Everybody's still wondering what the future is, even the manufacturers, even the suppliers. And here's our message to you. And it's simply this. You have an opportunity to shape this industry. If you'll help us let you learn and grow and be resourced in what's happening, then we can also help you to take control. And what I mean by that is fundamentally shift automotive retail that OEMs can't do on their own. You have the chance to flex your muscle and be powerful influencers in this industry like you never have been before. Look, ICE is here. Gasoline engines, you can't really reinvent them, right? Add some features, add some technology, yay. But anybody can sell an ICE vehicle. Anybody knows the history of ICE vehicles that would just open a book. The history is being written on EVs, and you have a chance to write that history. Let us help you do that. Study the OEM information. Certainly don't neglect that. Build relationships, obviously, with your suppliers, vertical and horizontal. But come to players like us that can bring the whole industry agnostically to you and make you a transformational retailer. And I promise you, if you do that, not only will you grow and thrive in the next 10 to 15 years, but also OEMs, your manufacturers, nameplates will be coming to you going, what are you doing? Above and beyond what we're doing and helping you do, you're doing more. Where are you learning this? Where are you getting this from? How can you on a dime pull up information and have a conversation with us or the sellers or the buyers in your stores and act like you've known this stuff for years? What's happening in your local market? We're hearing all about you. Everybody's talking about you selling EVs. Tell me more. And that's how we impact the clients that we deal with today. So I'm going to stop there.
Hey, John.
Let the members talk.
It's real clear. John's a Marine. So what he's trying to tell you is lead, follow, or get the hell out of the way. This is really not complicated. Whether you believe in electric vehicles or you don't, they're here. This is like the dealers in the old days that thought it was too much of a pain in the neck to deal with trade-ins, so they would wholesale everything out. Listen, it's really simple. All we want to do is show you how to be fully prepared when somebody comes in. They may come in on an EV and leave with something else. 4 out of 5 people still change their mind from when they walk in the door. All we want to do is make your people feel comfortable. So whatever happens, you're prepared and you're ready.
Well, and I can tell you, I brought Duran on board specifically because of this. When I was starting this company, I knew that I needed some expertise that I didn't have. And that expertise was boots on the ground, transforming dealers, holding them accountable when they say, we want you to be our consultant. Well, look, that's only half the game. You have to be the type of consultant that holds your dealers accountable to what they're asking you to do for them. And Duran is an expert of that. So Duran, I'm going to let you take over because without you, I don't think we'd be here today. So
wait a minute, John. You need a disclaimer because that's not what you told me. You told me you brought Duran in to bring the median height of the team up to 5'11". I'm just saying.
Good one, Larry.
No, thank you, John, and everybody that's watching this. John said something that was huge that I wrote down because I'm taking notes because that's part of BEV everything, right? Is learning. That's all it is. We're here learning together. So it's not a bunch of experts. It's a bunch of people coming together to create a community around not just EVs, but everything, that's included. But he said something. He said, make sure you look into your local market. And I got to thinking when he said that is key because no matter what you think EVs are the right way or the wrong way, the politics, all the other noise, you have to look at the data. What does your data say in your backyard? But what's even better is so many dealers that I've seen out there that don't want to be like that first to market or be EV ready. It gives you an opportunity from a national standpoint. Because if I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, which is where I'm at just outside of it, and I want to get in the EV game, and maybe there's not as much in the market in terms of the Memphis DMA, but in Nashville, it's good, or maybe in Little Rock, it's good. Well, you can actually look up the data, start looking at registrations, and start marketing in those areas. And since we know, I think it was like 80% or 83% of people that are EV buyers want to do most of that experience online, which is my jam. That's what I love. So to me, it's such a huge opportunity for dealerships to leverage a national background where you have a lot of dealers that are still hesitant and they're not looking at the bigger picture, that there's a group of people that are either currently looking for one or the next vehicle that they're going to get, they're going to consider one. And so being in that space and having that in your backyard is huge. So thanks for the open up, John. But that's something I wanted everybody to make sure they heard that local market, but pay attention to your data because it can be anything and you can do whatever you want with this EV because it's still so early for most dealerships. It is. So, but no, thank you for that. I'm glad to be here. And Larry, he is just as tall as I am. So don't let him fool you. He's sitting there and it's looking this way, but he's just as tall, because when you add the age factor in there, there's a lot of height that comes in there with it. So the wisdom that he brings, he stands much taller than I do. So Larry, I appreciate that.
You sound like the guy that tried to sell me earthquake insurance warranty when I bought my car, Duran.
Volcano insurance. I'm pretty sure is what it was. Volcano insurance.
Yeah. So Brooke, I would be curious because that's kind of tapping into your background. When you start talking about data analysis and looking at some marketing areas, but what's your take on that? Like, where do you see that this could be an advantage for those dealers that are still, I'm talking to those dealers that are kind of on the fence, they're like, I think this thing in about 9 months is going away. Or for the dealers to say, I'm ready to get started, but where do I start?
So interesting enough, I just got back from a conference just recently, and the more I talk to dealers, there's 3 different sectors. There's ones that say, hey, there's no way that this is going to, I won't say there's no way it's going to come past, but we're not going to happen. And that can be for a variety of reasons. It could be, hey, that's just, we're in a geographical location that, this is, while it's coming, it's not happening for a long time. There's the sector of they've been selling it. They've been the number 1 EV in their area for a very long time. And there's some that are like, we'll see, so I talk about that. And I'm very much a sponge. I wanted to sit and listen and say, okay, talk to me. Why is that? And they're very valid concerns. And then there are some that I'm like, what? Where are you hearing this? So as I sit and listen to all this, and for those that are the early adopters, or say that I want to say early, that have already adopted and are continuing to say, how can I improve more and more and more? That's where it's like, hey, yes, let's talk about that. So whether it's the social part of it, whether it's, hey, where are you getting information? What is on your website? If I go to your website right now and I can't even find an EV anything, have you been posting about this? Are you posting correct information? Do you have a dedicated EV anything on your site? Like you have a new section, you have a used section, you have your pick trucks versus sedans, but do you have an EV section? I mean, is everything internally linking? I mean, that's a whole other section. And then from OEMs, if an OEM is pushing your message, then it's going to be cookie cutter. So are you just doing cookie cutter information? Then you're not setting yourself apart. While I applaud the effort, you're not setting yourself apart at all. And in fact, Google is going to give a little strike next to you because all your stuff is cookie cutter. So there's so many different variations of like, okay, how are we prepping it? And then also, okay, if you're thinking, okay, well, maybe it's just not the right time right now. Okay, well, then why is that? Well, Brooke, we're in an area where people are very much against EVs. Okay, well, let's have that discussion. Right now, that might not be the right time for you, but also understand that EVs are here. Yeah. So it's one thing that's going back to going to the data. If your data just honestly shows that people literally hate EVs and where you are, or Brooke, our manufacturer can't get us ICE vehicles, let alone EV vehicles. Like, we literally cannot get them. So while the OEM might be pushing it, we cannot get EVs even if we wanted to. So there's so many different discussions going on as I sit and talk to all my different dealers about this. And a lot of them, like I said, a lot of them are really valid concerns for those that either really want to do it and are doing it, versus those are like, maybe, maybe not. And versus those are like, yeah, we'll see. So,
Hey, Brooke,
yes.
What about we talked data earlier?
Mhm.
How about these pieces of data? The first one is the profit margins on EVs, even pre-pandemic, when everything got out of whack, was tremendously high. And how about the fact that every dealer on earth, I was one, understands the concept of losing business through your service department, and it never comes back. Because a guy can say, you know what, I don't need to go to Joe Johnson Chevy. There's a gas station down the block. Well, the gas station down the block is never going to be equipped to handle the electric vehicles. So you're going back. You're kind of tightening the circle to bringing people back into your service department because you're equipped where other people aren't. You've got very high profit margins prior to the insanity that resulted from COVID, and that's going to continue to be there. And again, unfortunately or unfortunately, Mr. Ellis and I are older than you and Duran. And if we screw back into our memories, we'll remember when people didn't want Japanese cars. I'm buying American. Well, it would have been nice to be ahead of that curve. I told the story before, John, and you chuckled that Henry Ford, the younger, not the older, was offered the chance to buy Honda. Nah, that product will never last. So just being a little bit ahead of the curve is important. And I'm a trainer. And I'm telling you, when I ask a question and people don't know the answer, it's like their arms shrunk into their bodies. They look like turtles. But when they know the answer, hey, me, all we want to do is make sure whether you're selling them or not selling them, when people come in and have a question, you can say, you know what? That's a dynamite question. Let me answer that. You're building confidence. And once people like a salesperson, then they have confidence in their information, only good things can happen. So we're not pushing EVs down your throat. We're saying we want to make sure your people can answer any question, that you're ahead of any curve. All we want to do is make you feel comfortable. Heck, we'll help you sell EVs. We'll help you sell ICEs. Man, put wheels on a stationary chair. We'll help you sell that. Okay. All we want to do is make your people better, have some fun, and make more money. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, Brooke.
Awesome. I'm going to bring up just a couple comments here. First off, Jeff, good to see you. Thanks for always the awesome support. Super appreciate it. We got Steven saying embracing reality and not resisting it is where our great industry will provide the desired result or not. EVs are not coming. They are already here. Most customers don't like the current car buying process, and retention overall is poor. Although auto retail is a great industry, we must address the longstanding challenges that limit the associated experience. Jeff also goes on to say, Jeff said, doesn't go on. Jeff had earlier said hello and then flexes to Larry because maybe you guys work out together. I'm not sure, but there's a strong flexing of Larry from Jeff.
Jeff was just on a conference call with me before then. I'm starting to think Jeff is very lonely.
Jeff, or he's stalking you. I'm not sure. Jeff, you know we love you. We know this is a heart to you right now, Jeff. It's a heart to you. He says, I believe that the telltale fever is still I don't know if I can I haven't not slept a whole lot this week. I'm not going to lie. And I definitely need more water, and that many dealers and OEMs are suffering from. So I also know that we prefaced this whole show that we were going to be talking about the government incentives from our good friend John over here. And we've been teasing this, and I don't want to continue teasing along. So John, talk to us a little bit about this.
Yes, certainly. I think I want to reinforce what the audience has said, as well as our partners here, is that I know Tesla has been a conundrum for our dealers because of two reasons. One is not being on the forefront, and number two is not understanding. So Elon, as a dealer, he would say, I think this must be where one of our comments came from. I bought Teslas in November and December. Elon dropped the price in January, and now I'm being hit. Well, if you were with us or another consultant or on your own had the opportunity, you would have known in Q3 that price drops were coming in on January. And when you would not have bought those Teslas, or you would have negotiated a cheaper rate for those trade-ins or those acquisitions of Teslas, knowing they were coming. The evidence was there. He signaled it in Q3. He signaled it in Q4, and we knew it was coming. So knowing what's coming, and this is what Duran and I do in our automotive consulting, having a buy plan that understands the future, not just the past or today. And that would have helped you there with the Tesla. So it's not Tesla's fault. It's the industry's fault for not obviously giving you more medians to get there, but that's why you need us, right? We know where it is. We find the data. We bring it to you early. You never get stuck. Second thing is understanding the EV. You have to know what you have, battery health, subscriptions inside that EV, all the things that keep you safe and risk averse. We know how to do that. We can consult your team on how to be risk averse as you acquire EVs and sell EVs and get the maximum price and pay the minimum at acquisition. So that's, thank you for saying that. We get it. We feel for you. It's why we formed this company. The second thing I'll say is the number. So think about it. I said earlier, and this is going to go to the incentive. I mentioned that you have a chance as a dealer or as industry partners, most of us are here, to transform this industry in a way that you've never been able to before in your lifetime, and you won't again in your lifetime. Let me give you a quick example of that. So PII, everybody knows what PII is, right? Personal information, right? The stuff that we're all scared of. Consumers are tight with their own personal information, yet dealers have an opportunity to have a model like I have with my Tesla that's a subscription-based model to charge a subscription monthly fee. And I know a lot of consumers and dealers and industries, oh, they'll never pay that. Won't happen. I never thought I'd pay it. I pay 3 different little hiccups each month for my Tesla because they add value to my vehicle, to my knowledge, and to my experience. So yes, they will pay it. Let me give you an example. U.S. consumers, this is from Bloomberg, studied said they will be willing to share their PII in exchange for vehicle health information. 60% said that. Traffic updates and alternative routes, so interactive mapping, not just regular, 58%, and then safety and preventive future collisions, so 57%. So right around 60% of consumers today in the infancy stages of this. These people don't own EVs. Only 7% adopted in January, 5.4 total. That's nobody, right? Yet 60% are saying, yeah, I'll share my personal information and buy a subscription if it does this for me. That's a dealer's revenue stream, transformational model, and ability. And you can do that in a way that would create economies of scale for you like you've never seen before. The last thing I'll say is this. Larry touched on it. When the question was asked by Deloitte, with whom do you have the most trusted relationship in your automotive experience? Consumers said, dealerships where I normally service my vehicle 31% of the time, and dealerships where I acquire my vehicle 28% of the time. So think about this. Almost 69, 70% of the time, the dealership experience influenced where the consumer goes next time. Lending companies were only 2 to 3%, and then manufacturers, brands, vehicles that are currently owned, the brand loyalty, which we've told you during the pandemic did this, is only 27% in the U.S. Now, those are different in each country, but in the U.S., I gave you the numbers. 27% brand, so Tesla, Chevy, Ford Lightning, but 70% dealership experience, both front and back end, and then finally the rest, which is minimal. So this is how important your involvement and engagement in this is. So I want to stop there. I'll finish up with incentives, but Larry, I know you guys chew on this kind of stuff every day. Any thoughts about how the dealership impacts residual relationships, or, like I said, sharing of the personal information?
Well, it's really simple. As everybody listening to this, and as we all know, it's not the car business, it's the people business. If we're not about the people, if we're not about making them feel comfortable, we need to go home. And I've said this before, John, forgive me for repeating myself, but it's very, very important. The demographic that manufacturers, that I don't care whether it's athletic equipment, but my good friend Brooke with her sneakers, okay, her kicks, or any kind of program always skews to a younger demographic. Well, nothing skews heavier at this point towards a younger demographic than electric vehicles. So you're chasing a demographic that everybody's desperate for. You're putting into play, you're getting ahead of the curve, not behind it. You're dealing with something that always has substantial profit margins. These things all even themselves out. You're dealing with something with the current administration is very heavily slanted towards incentives and pushing people into it. So, I mean, tell me what the negative is. And if your negative is, well, like Brooks, some of Brooks' people said, well, I'm too far away, I'm the cow pasture. Things may change. As any nature abhors a vacuum, and anytime there's a profit to be made, somebody's going to find a way to miniaturize it, to make it more. Man, again, John, I'm just leaning on you because we're a little older than our two compadres here. I remember when people rebelled against cable television. This was way before The Sopranos showed up. All we're trying to do is get you to think to the future, to think about the profits and be fully prepared. And I know we're on the right track, John and Brooke and Duran, because I just got a text from Elon. He said, keep up the great talk. Everything's wonderful. Hey, if Elon's texting me personally, you know, he might be bored like Jeff is, but hey, at least he's reaching out.
Love it. Love it.
I'll just jump in here real quickly. Steven's always coming in with hot takes here and says, demonize Tesla or learn from it. Dismiss Amazon or learn from it. Ignore Apple or learn from it. Brick and mortar dealers have the unique and powerful ability to deliver a world-class experience beyond the one-time transaction. People matter, but so does education, awareness, and intelligent process. Excuse me. And a couple of things. I know that, John, you brought up the PII, and anyone that follows it, and you know me, I have a little bit of a soft spot for security and PII. So you said that my like alarm just went off in my head as soon as you said that. And I was like holding in everything. Yes, was in Illinois, Tesla was sued over some PII information. So as a dealer, I just plead with you, whether it's with EVs or whatever, please lock down your security. I beg of you. Whether it's Andre Amico and I are very good friends, privacy for cars, dude, please take this seriously, because it doesn't matter what type of vehicle or what you're doing. We can all throw around. I've done more shows on GLBA than I think I can count, which is probably like 6. And at this point, I can barely count to 6. So, but just lock this down, because if Tesla can get in trouble, or Nissan has been sued, they had a security issue this past like a couple months ago. So multiple people have issues with this. Just lock this down, because you're going to run issue with this. John, I have a question for you. I keep hearing this over and over and over again, and maybe you can help with this and just kind of maybe dispel some of this, and then also put maybe some fears to bed. And I'm hearing a lot about there's not enough material and raw materials for the batteries. I'm hearing that a lot. Do you want to speak to that at all?
Yeah, I think, well, you just opened up the door to the incentive changes, right?
There we go.
You knew that. You did that on purpose. Well, she's good, guys. I tell you. Okay, so the answer to that question, it is our biggest Achilles heel. There are things that we're doing to combat that challenge, but it's a challenge. So I won't make unicorns and rainbows out of that by any means. So 2 things. The new IRA changes are really focused on battery minerals. So we're thinking, well, how does that mess with adoption? What they've done is they've determined, and I just got back from a SAFE conference in DC, and the whole conference is around responsible mineral mining, both not only to the environment, but to the human resource aspect. So we know in Ukraine and other areas, how these people apparently are treated, inhumanely as they mine, right? Little children are mining, and it's horrible. And so we're building national alliances and intercontinental alliances, but we also want to bring more of that mining here so that we can control that experience and the way we mine, the responsible way to mine. And until we do that, because it's a long way off, probably not in our lifetime that we'll meet our battery needs in the U.S. with minerals. We're building alliances. So that day, I was sitting at the conference, which was last Tuesday in DC. That night before, they signed the agreement with Japan. The U.S. did. So we brought Japan in as a mining partner, so that minerals from batteries that were mined in Japan are approved for the IRA. You get it? See how the partnership works? So, and we're signing other agreements like that, Larry, like that as well. So what's happening is we're trying to build, like the EU, try to build an European Union to compete with Asia and in the Western Hemisphere. We're trying to build a mining community that's bigger and stronger and more resourced than just the U.S. alone, but all centered around partnerships inside the U.S. that keep us less dependent on China. So right now, about 70% of all the minerals come from China. And that's scary, right? Because they're not our best friends. The second thing is we need sovereignty, right? We have OPEC. We're dealing with OPEC right now. OPEC is cutting production. They're doing that on purpose. Apparently, our administration didn't hold up to some ends of their bargain, so they made OPEC mad. And yes, we can produce oil and gas here, but we shut down so much refining that it would take forever to catch back up. It's in the ground, but we slowed refining down for environmental reasons, right? Or so they say. So now we're already fighting with OPEC. Now we got China to deal with on this side. So the point is, minerals are critical. There's few of them out there. We're smart. We're building the alliances, but we're also trying to protect us. So the IRA will have new minerals requirements, which we don't have now, these first 3 months. And vehicles like the Tesla Model 3 probably won't be available for the incentive any longer. That's because they have LFP batteries out of CATL, which is a manufacturer in China. So the minerals come from China, and we're not going to allow those minerals to have IRA incentives in the U.S. So that's why we're forming the alliances with Japan and UK and Canada and Mexico. We're trying to build that NAFTA, if you will, with battery minerals, and they are. So good for them. Great job. But what does that do? It shrinks, right, our available supply as it pertains to affordability. We're still going to get China's vehicles in the market, and we're going to have their minerals in our cars, and their cars are going to be driving around the U.S. You just can't buy them with an incentive as an American. So that's affordability. So fortunately, there's many other affordability opportunities out there. The Chevy Bolt is sub $27,000, brand new. That car is an amazing vehicle. So an EV adopter who's on a budget still has U.S.-based opportunities to buy an EV. That's entry points. But there's also the high end, and we know very well, Larry said it, the younger demographic with, six-figure incomes, they're not going to be affected either.
Hey, John,
middle America.
Excuse me for interrupting, but you just skimmed over a crucial point you made.
Make it.
When our buddies from OPEC decide that they don't like us and they raise the price, that means gas prices go up. And the last time I checked, I'm a little slow to the game, but I don't think EVs need gas. Would that be correct, John?
It would be, and I'll give you another, and let's say this comment right when I'm done. I love this audience participation. I did an analysis and posted it last week. So please be our friends on LinkedIn. BEV Everything is a LinkedIn page. BEV Everything is a Facebook group. We share a lot of resources there as well. But I did a post last week. I'm saving around $500 a month in fuel charges, and that includes how much it costs me to charge at home and away. I charge about 40 to 60% away from home. So I pay for my charging pretty often at a higher penny, around 27 to 30 cents a kilowatt hour. I'm still saving $500 a month in fuel charges, plus another like $400 a year in no oil changes and infrequent brake jobs. So Larry, great point that you just made, because as OPEC squeezes us, gas prices are going to be higher. I'll be saving $600 or $700 a month.
Well, not only that, but I want to do a shout out. Steve Apicella keeps commenting. I don't know if you guys have had the pleasure of meeting him. Not only
phenomenal human being,
not only one of the nicest guys in the car business, but one of the brightest. And John, he's the only guy you'll ever meet that's more verbal than me. Him and I left the place and we got mugged. And by the time Steven got done making the guy explain the gun structure, the guy handed us the gun and said, "Just leave me alone. I'm going to go rob somebody else."
But honestly, with Steven's comment here right now, I want to break down two things with it. One, he says things like range anxiety are manufactured by those that are resisting change. Infrastructures, for example, examples, doesn't it precede demand when ICE vehicles? And for anyone that's like, what, Brooke, what is ICE? Like, are you drinking something like it's meat or ice? Well, on the rocks, what's going on? It's gas vehicles. To make it very, very simple, just make it gas vehicles. I'm not going to go into it, just gas vehicles. When ICE vehicles were first mass manufactured, gas stations were not on every corner. So, Stephen, I hope you're okay that I'm telling the story. Hopefully it wasn't the confidence you told me this, because I'm now going to put it on live. So here you go, Stephen. His sons have two, I'm just going to say EVs. We'll leave it at EVs. And they're on their second EV. So and they love them. Like, the process was seamless, not the most congruent, but it was a seamless experience for them, and they love them. So they are here now. So, but to Larry's point, Stephen is a phenomenal human being, and I'm not pitching a product right now, and he is always on how can we connect the disconnected, and how can we help the experience? How can we continue that sales experience, the service experience, whether it's an ICE vehicle, whether it's an EV experience or EV vehicle? So yes, absolutely 100%. Yes.
I'd love to have him on a future show. Yeah. Let's get him in.
And what you said there about your fuel consumption, I hear a lot of like, oh, my diesel is going to get better gas mileage about that with the EVs. I don't know if you want to speak to that and catapult off of that.
Yeah, so typically the MPG equivalent, so that's easier for people to understand. For an ICE versus an internal combustion engine ICE versus an EV, you get about 112 to 130 miles to the gallon in an EV. You're no diesel in the world is getting that mileage. They get better mileage than gasoline. We get it. Here's the conundrum for anything, and here's why that is. You lose 70% of your fuel when it burns. So to combust the fuel before it gets to the wheels, you're going to lose about 70% of it. That's called combustion. Diesels combust, ICE engine combust. Sorry. So yes, we need fossil fuel. Look, BEV everything is not a fossil fuel demonizer. Please understand, we love ICE. I've got 3 ICE vehicles and 2 EVs. We love ICE. And by the way, the current father of electrification, Elon Musk, says drill, 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 because we need ICE, fossil fuel and gas and nuclear to fuel our power plants, which charge our batteries. The only difference is we're going to become 70% more efficient in how we use that energy and need 70% less of that fossil fuel the more BEVs are on the road. So listen, you'll learn from us real quick. I'm a fiscal economist. I did graduate in international trade and finance, and I'm very fiscally responsible. There's no way in the world mandates are going to win this game. We've got to let consumers adopt and the technology win, not the government. We're on your side there. We promise. You won't hear us go BEV everything. Just means we sell everything, not just BEVs, not only BEVs. And the second part is we also understand that without drill, we'll never make it to sustainability because our economies will be in so much trouble that we'll never get there. Brooke, you said it, minerals. We're going to short supply. What the government just did with their incentives change, which is the title of this program, is slow EV adoption, which is not a bad thing. Listen, we understand it's still growing leaps and bounds, but we're not going to over accelerate and hurt ourselves. That's all. There's plenty of EVs out there available to buy affordable today. The point is they're making sure that we protect our country's sovereignty first. And I'm all in on that. As a fiscal economist, I know how bad it is to be relying on other nations. So this is good stuff. I mean, you can partner with us and know that we're going to elevate your ICE business. We're going to elevate your EV acumen. So when it comes, you'll be the best in the business. But we're also going to be fiscally responsible with you and your dealership because we know how important it is to continue to grow you and the economy as a whole. And so under any economic condition, this team right here will make sure you're taking market share and winning, whether it be EV, ICE, or both. Duran, what do you think?
I'm just going to say, Duran, bring us, chime in here.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say, Stephen, thank you for being so engaged. I hit him up on LinkedIn because I feel like I'm the only one that's not connected to my man, Stephen, who I don't know yet, but he's got me so fired up from his comments that I'm like, because he's speaking all of our languages. He's touching Larry, Brooke, you, John, myself. And it's funny because I I had something written down that I wanted to share about experience. So it worked out perfect because Steven's right. And I think it was that first comment that he made. Yeah, it was just like most customers don't like the current car buying process, and retention overall is poor. That's it. Like, and so all dealers, we all have to focus on in the auto industry is like, how do we fix that? Like, what does it take? Because we know there's a problem with the experience, and we know that the last couple of years, with some people getting their heads knocked off a little bit with the pricing and stuff like that, that created that consumer confidence to decline. So what do we do? And so the three things I wrote down, and I want every dealer, GM, whoever's watching this, or if you're selling cars, these are the three things that you focus on when it comes to EVs, but also everything. Okay. But the first thing is focus on the questions. And I know Larry would appreciate that, but focus on making sure that your team is asking your customers the right questions.
And listening.
What's that? Oh, you're
And
right
listening.
there. So Larry knows questioning is the key to selling EVs. You will not sell EVs off of enthusiasm alone, off of persuasion alone. It's not like how it used to be where something new comes out and you're like, yeah, won't do it. You have to ask the right questions and allow the customer to lead themselves to the right answer, which is a great experience. Okay. Then the second F that we want to focus on that I have is the overall experience, and not just experience as a whole, experience granularly, meaning what are the tangible things that we're going to do to create the ultimate experience with EV shoppers or non-EV shoppers. So a tangible thing would be, of course, I talk about a lot is video. That's a tangible thing that enhances the experience. What's another thing? The delivery experience. I feel the delivery experience has gotten kind of not the best, so whether you're selling cars online or offline, what does your delivery experience look like? The reason why this is key is because customers remember two parts of the process mainly. They remember the beginning, and then they're going to remember the end. So the end, what do you do in that experience to make it so great that even if the first half sucked, they forgot about it because the ending was so phenomenal? That helps because that experience is what makes them go tell Brooke, John, Larry, everybody else and be like, man, at the end, they had a bow. At the end, we did a video. At the end, we sat down for 30 minutes and went through the car and made sure that everything was set up the right way. That's number two, because you cannot deliver these vehicles the way that we used to deliver some, where you just throw the keys, call me if you need me, I'm here for you. It's a different thing. And then that last F that I have, and John Ellis showed us this with his last post, is content. The content is what you have to focus on. Again, EV, there's a lot of attraction there where customers are wanting more information and education around EVs than there's even content out there. So John posts something, I think it was last week, it was a picture just sharing something, and my man got over 70,000 freaking hits. Like, he got more hits and impressions off of his LinkedIn post than the last 20 of my posts got. Save your laughter for after the show, because I'm sure people are like, yeah, Duran, it's all these. It doesn't matter. It's because so many people are still seeking the information and trying to gather more knowledge around what's currently going on. But for the experience aspect, what Stephen was talking about, generating content to give customers around range anxiety, around, what's better, ICE or EV or a hybrid, creating content around that as somebody that's focused more on the customer about what they would want and how to handle those objections or those concerns, I should say. That's it. So it's about asking the right questions, right? It's about focusing on the experience, but granular. Like, what are the things that we're actually doing? And then lastly, how are we sharing the content to help customers when they're ready to buy a car if they have some concerns? And then dialing and looking at these things. Leadership is what helps that experience stick. And then the leaders have to sit there and say, every car that they sold and they did not sell, did we deliver a high-class experience? Was it world-class? And those are the things that would help with what Steven's saying, and then Jeff as well. Those are the tangible things in terms of creating a better experience and making it memorable. Those are the things I would focus in on. So Steven and Jeff as well. Thank you, Jeff. But Steven, thank you for your comments and your engagement here, because they got me fired up as I was looking at it. I'm like, who is this guy? I was like, I got to connect with him. So Steven, hopefully we can connect offline sometime in the future. But thank you so much.
Yeah, complete powerhouses, man. It's First time I met Steven was on a fixed ops round table, and I just he's just like every time you talk to him, it's like I am instantly smarter. All right, I learned something every single time. So yes, definitely connect with him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Sounds like he knows his stuff. Yep.
100%. Yeah, but it is. It's like there's so much, and that's the thing. What you're saying there, Duran, is there's so much information out there, and some of it's good, some of it not so good. But because there is so much pent up demand of, well, what is it though? Like I need to find that information. And John, that post went crazy. It went nuts. And we kept seeing these, you kept seeing the screenshots. We just kept watching it, just keep going and go. It's like the Energizer Bunny just kept going and going and going, because that's exactly what you're saying. People they're craving this information of like, well, I'm trying to find this information. I mean, I was trying to find something the other day. I'm like, I can't, like, I remember asking you a question about, hey, is this company legitimate? Is it not legitimate? I didn't know. And so I because of that, I'm reaching out to you all to figure out, hey, is this company good? Is it not good? Because I'm trying to do my own research to vet companies about their legitimacy, because there is just so much unknown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No
question. It teaches us every time it happens how people are starving for real, accurate, and easy to digest information. And that's what the EV Everything community has, is every post, every kind of reference will have a small little blip that's all you really need to know to have a conversation. But if you say, well, I want to trust it and I don't know I can trust it, then right below it'll be a link to the source with the data. So you don't have to read every one. You can get just what you need to know, or you can actually dive in and get to the percentages in the source, so you can really feel good about it. Either way, it's a personality. Some people are good one way and the other. We want to make that available to you. The post that we're talking about here was so simple. It was just about hydrogen, gasoline, or ICE, and then BEV. And the difference was, how efficient are they as they operate a motor vehicle? And hydrogen is not the answer. Toyota found out. They dumped their CEO because of it. And this guy was legacy, because he would not get off the stump for hydrogen. Now, does hydrogen have applications? Yes. Probably Class 8, long haul. But short haul, absolutely not. It is not a passenger vehicle fuel. And James Carter, if you want to look him up on LinkedIn, is a resident expert. Him and his engineering teams. He's an international consultant who'll give you all the data and facts around hydrogen conversion, green hydrogen, or whatever. And I've read it, and it rings true as a financial economist as well as just a math guy. So anyway, say all that to say it's almost 100,000 now. And the good news is the views that we've gotten, it's like at 92,000 now. Most, like 50%, is international, right? The whole world wants to know about this stuff, not just North America. So what opportunity do you have to become a global leader in this space as a dealer, right? As an industry partner, right? And that's what we can help you with. We've got global contacts. I deal with the Anderson Economic Automotive Group on this stuff all the time. I'm helping write papers for Turkey and Hungary and other areas of the world that are learning about fleet and electrification and efficiencies and depot charging. So we're here for you in whatever capacity. If you're a fleet owner and you're thinking about taking your fleet electric, we've got you. If you're a dealer and you want to learn about EVs, we've got you. If you're an industry partner and you want to become an expert for your clients who are dealers or fleet operators, we've got you. And just reach out. We'll be glad to have a discussion.
And more than that, John, if you're into vegan, Duran can cook you up some completely inedible food. If you come to your senses, Brooke and I will take you out for some good pizza. Just saying. All this EV talk makes me hungry.
Or a good steak, one of the two. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
The sushi
a mushroom steak.
Portobello mushroom. I got you.
John's a Marine. He'll actually rustle the cattle, kill it with his bare hands, and then we'll cook it in the back.
There's very few foods I won't eat, and mushrooms are one of them. Mushrooms and like onions, but mushrooms should be like, if you took like those like pink meat erasers, it's the same thing. I'm like, it's the exact same thing as eating a mushroom to me. Like I just can't do it.
Yeah. It's like paper. Yeah.
There's like, and I've had more friends who are like, oh, I've done this gourmet way. I'm like, it still tastes like an eraser. It's not the same. No, not gonna happen.
So for anybody that's joining late, you had 45 minutes of the best analysis available in the EV business, and I just turned this into a cooking show. Where's the Emerald when we need them?
And the show is off the rails. That's what happens.
Hey, it's about that time. And look at Steven's last comment there too. I mean,
Yeah, so we got Steven's
nailed
last
it again.
comments. Yeah, it is our industry's mission to sell a car and maybe a few F&I products, or to also earn a reoccurring customer, either ICE vehicles or EVs. Leadership and process refinement are required if the latter is desired. There's a lot of room to grow. Amen, Stephen. Amen, buddy. Amen.
Think about what he just said, Stephen. And look, we all know it, but there's a lot of room to grow. How old is our industry? Haven't we learned these lessons yet? I can remember I was leading sales teams with Auto Trader years ago, and I'd be in a car with a field rep, the best of the best. These folks are so good. And one of them said to me one time, John, I'm so tired of having the same pictures, pricing, photo, merchandising conversations with the same dealers year after year after year. And I said, you know what? That's what they pay us for. We're here to reinforce a message that we know is most effective. But it dawned on me that that's the piece that you said Duran was missing, that accountability piece. It's like the leadership have got to hold the people they pay, income to, their employees, to those standards, right? And that's success. And that's where I'm so sorry to hear that it's still needed, but Steve's absolutely right. They need us. They need each of us individually in our regular automotive consulting business. And they're certainly going to need us in this one, because the ability to be an EV transformational leader is more demanding, as Larry said, younger, more technologically savvy, encouraged and interested, but also very quick out the door shoppers if you're not on point, right? And we can help you do that.
John, it's all about attitude. I hate to quote my own book, Inner Moron Demons, but there's a line in there that everybody should remember. They're not annoyances, they're annuities. If you treat them right, man, they can be your best customer. Oh, there it is.
I can't reach mine over there. It's like literally sitting right here,
Yeah.
Larry. It's right there.
Guys, hey, I'll give you a shout out, buddy. One of the best books I've read. I mean, it's almost like a mini history lesson too. Every analogy is perfectly placed in the book to fit a current or past event. Great job, Larry. Great book.
It's just that I have very serious ADD, as you can tell from this broadcast, and I tend to jump around a little bit mentally. But
we love it. Yeah.
The bottom line on this program is we encourage people to work with us, to help us. Thought leaders like Stephen, a guy like Jeff Shearer, who's been everywhere and everybody loves him. We welcome you to our community. All we want to do is make people better, make the industry better, have some fun, and make a couple bucks. We don't want to forget the capitalism angle there, John.
Yeah, oh, certainly. Yeah, we have to feed our families for sure. But look, at the end of the day, this wasn't created for money. This was created because we love the industry. We love our dealers. We love our industry partners. And we saw where they were struggling. Traditional automotive, yes, because the economy's been so weird that nobody can just kind of lean on what they knew before to win today. But on top of that, this has exploded, and we wanted to be ready for dealers when they were ready. And what we found out was they're not ready. And we went, okay, wow, well, then we need to help get them ready. And so we morphed into, hey, show them how they need to get ready and why. Convince them that now is the runway they're looking for, and pretty soon they're going to be looking in the rearview mirror if they're not careful. And so, hey, things adapt and change. So I'm glad we did it, because I know that we're making a big difference. And I'm
Ben Franklin said it right, my brother. When you're finished changing, you're finished. Okay, you want to stay rich, act like you're broke. You want to go broke, act like you're rich. You got to be open to everything and be ahead of every curve, and that's all we're trying to do.
Is that why you drive a 1968 Toyota Tercel?
No. 69 Grand Prix. I talked about this on somebody else's show, man. I used to hit the gas and the car went sideways. It was so fast.
He's Flintstoning it over here. Don't worry about him. He's good.
Hey. Don't be busting my chops, okay?
It's not a lot.
John's on the show. John's social security number is 14. Don't be picking up.
It's so bad.
Well, if this is 14, what is yours, 15?
Hey, I'm old proud, girl.
Oh, yeah.
The Beatles, the Rolling Stones, James Brown, Otis Redding. You have Kanye West. No wonder you're Jennifer.
Oh, no.
Hey, Brooke, why don't you talk about the Clubhouse community we have next Tuesday?
So Clubhouse community next Tuesday. There you go.
Yeah.
We just talked about it.
I don't want to miss it. So we
Don't
toggle
wanna
these things,
miss it.
right?
It's at I think we've switched up the time. We've kind of been playing around with time to figure out what is best for everyone. It's kind of the same thing. Like you always want to figure out, okay, while it might work best for us, doesn't work best for other people. So it's also listening to the community. And we found out, hey, there's another house, no, another room that's going on at the same time. So I believe it's at 8 a.m. Is that correct?
Central time. That's right.
8 a.m. Central on every other Tuesday.
That's right. So
it'll be next
We
Tuesday.
didn't have it yesterday, but we're gonna have it next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. So every other Tuesday we'll be doing Clubhouse. Fun times had by all. And then every other Wednesday, so alternating Wednesdays, we'll be doing on this platform. This is a lot easier to go live like this than to do it the other way. So we're switching it up here. So we're going to repeat that one more time. It's like every other Wednesday will be at noon Central on this platform here, going live. And then every other Tuesday on Clubhouse. And been doing that thing at 8 Central. So join us.
Brooke,
Yeah. Let us know.
They don't have to just wait for the broadcast. They can reach yourself or John or Ann or I through LinkedIn. We're very easy to access, man, and we welcome anybody's thoughts, any inputs, anything we can do to help in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and if you're watching on LinkedIn right now, in the copy of it, everyone is tagged in there, so you can definitely find us on LinkedIn. If you're watching on obviously my channel as well, we're all everywhere. Like you can find us anywhere. You can call us, text us, email us. We are going to definitely respond. So we're found anywhere. So yeah, definitely reach out. Stephen, thank you so much. Super, super appreciate it. Jeff, thank you so much for your engagement. Appreciate everyone. And this is, like I said, this is the first of this format of very, very many, which is horrible grammar, but the first of many. Yes, let's go with that one. Yeah.
I love it, Brooke.
I like very many. It's okay.
First of, like I said, we need more sleep.
Yeah.
Yes. What else? Closing thoughts from anybody else? Anybody else want to?
Grant, let's let you close. Say real quick about Walt Massey and what's available if dealers want them. What we did over there and what the dealers may need, and if that's the case, they can reach out to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So to close out, I would just say that if what you listened to and what you saw intrigued you a little bit, or if you just have questions, reach out to myself. You can find me on LinkedIn, or you can email me at Duran@Cage Automotive, or Duran@BEV Everything is what I really should say. So Duran@BEVEverything.com, or just find me on LinkedIn is the easy way because I'm typically there. But get your store certified. That's what we have, a certification program that will allow your dealership to be certified, get your team certified. You can put the stamp on your website and do some great things with that. But the experience we had in store with Walt Massey recently was amazing. There was customers there. I mean, we're connecting with them, helping them do deliveries and do walkarounds. And it was such a fun experience. And I learned so much. So if that's something that you would like to learn a little bit more information, join BEVEverything.com. The link was up there earlier. Oh, there's my email, but you can join the website and it's free. It costs nothing, but come join us, fill us out, take some courses, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. So thank you all. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you. This is so much more sophisticated than us doing it in the room that we had at BEV Everything. So please let us know of any feedback that you have or any adjustments that you want us to make the next time, and we'll definitely take it into consideration. So thank you all. Thank you, Larry, and appreciate you, John.
Thanks, everybody. Enjoyed it. Thank you, Brooke.
We'll see everyone on Tuesday in Clubhouse, and otherwise we'll see everyone the following week on this platform. All right, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.